Welcome back. Week 2, Inside the Click, your weekly creator economy resource discussion. I guess we're doing all the
All the
things here.
things.
So, yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for the awesome response last week. It was super, super. Well, I guess no, it will be last week by the time we post this one.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
we
No, it's
record
so
on
exciting.
Fridays.
Yes, it's so exciting. So you can expect new episodes every Tuesday. That'll be our cadence. But yeah, we appreciate it so much. This has been a project that we've been so excited about. And on the note of last week's episode, so you know how we were talking about how everyone could possibly be a creator one day? I
Yeah.
saw, and I don't know if you saw this, but the University of Colorado on their football practice jerseys, they're doing, instead of their last names, they're doing their social media handle.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, now that college athletes can get, those sponsorship opportunities, I'm like, that's such a clutch way to kind of like dive into that. I thought that
Oh
was so
my.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole thing is so fascinating too. Like, because well, so I grew up swimming
Mhm.
and a big um question that everyone had was, did you want to go pro or did you want to swim in college? And like
Yep.
the people that like peaked in high school and went to the Olympics, like it was basically the only way that you could get. I guess this is the same thing too with like gymnastics and basically any lesser known sport. The only
Mhm.
way that you could like make a ton of money um through after that exposure would be like you had to go pro and then you couldn't
Right.
do it in college.
Right. That's so
Yeah.
funny. Cheerleading is the exact opposite. Well, not exact opposite. There's just no money in cheerleading. But I remember in high school, probably like senior year, I would get asked, "Do you want to be a professional cheerleader?" And I was like, "One, NFL cheerleaders are dancers, so no," because dancing was not my strength when it came to cheer. It was being 5'1" and being thrown in the air. But yeah, so I did college, but yeah, after that, there's like absolutely no trajectory. But like these cheerleaders now could be influencers, and I feel like that's a whole new
Yeah.
level that did not exist 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that have like millions of followers and are making really good money, but I
Yeah.
feel like I did see something about that maybe a couple months ago where there there was like maybe heckling or something. I mean, it comes with its own set of
Right.
challenges, I'm
Right.
sure, but wow.
But
Wait,
yeah,
you said
so
that was University of Colorado.
yeah.
Okay.
So they're on it. I also think like this past year, they've just been trying to be in the media. I think they're because didn't they get a new coach? Anyway, we're getting off track. But I thought that was interesting since we had talked about last week. But let's get into what's going on this week in the influencer creator economy world.
Yes. So, we're gonna split this into a couple of different segments. So, this first one, we're gonna talk about some weekly highlights that both of us found throughout the week. So, the first one is um, Impact launched they are calling it their creator marketplace, and it is an app where you can create tracking links in one click, manage proposals and invites in one swipe, and apply to brands and promote new products with one tap. So, not a creator app, but a way to like manage all of like some of the business side.
Interesting. Okay, so honestly, this makes so much sense for if you're not that familiar with Impact, but you are a creator, you probably are using Impact and you just don't know it. So they essentially are the in between the retailer and then a platform like Collective Voice or LTK or ShopMy. And they are the ones who are tracking the information of the order of the click and then sending that data to Collective Voice. So the retailer gets the order, they push it through Impact. Impact has all the rate information. So, and all of that is all decided in the network. So if you're ever like, why is this retailer 15%? That's something that the retailer has sent through to the network. And then these other platforms just aggregate that. So if
And
you use,
also, in Monica, correct me if I'm wrong. So there's quite a few affiliate networks.
Mhm.
Impact is one of the big ones,
Yeah,
but a retailer typically just chooses one affiliate network to be on, and then they're called like sub affiliates like
Mhm.
LTK, Collective Voice, Howl. They would need to sync up with that affiliate network to be able to work with that retailer.
right. So it makes so much sense that a network would do this because then they don't really need LTK, Collective Voice. Like they can just do it. And these networks are kind of the OGs of this business. Like affiliate marketing has existed well before bloggers existed. If you
Yep.
think about like how old like some of these affiliate companies are, they're probably double in age as a shop style or LTK.
Yep.
So that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And
I
then
also saw they're doing an influencer trip this week to Seattle
it's probably to kind of like
to
promote
celebrate.
this because it's like hot off the press. Like literally, they posted it 2 days ago. And I think it also not only is it interesting that through doing that, right, you're cutting out some of the sub affiliates
Mhm.
potentially, but I mean, there are also different benefits like with different sub affiliates, and we can talk about this at length too, but
Yeah.
sometimes if you're going to do a campaign and you need to do like whitelisting, some sub affiliates may already have that set up.
Mhm.
So there can be like different headaches that are alleviated through going through a sub affiliate. But it does also take another pain point, which is just like the whole campaign management
Right.
process. And it
Right.
makes it like putting it into technology is great.
Agree.
Yeah. So,
Agree. I think that's huge. And I think creators also like to know that they have some control in the campaign process of being able to reach out to a brand and not just sit there waiting and hoping that their account comes up in some search that makes them relevant to a campaign. Because, yes, you can like cold pitch and like find an email through LinkedIn of who might be that person, but that takes so much time. And for platforms to start evolving and having more ways that the creator can feel like they're owning their business and not just sitting there waiting makes a lot of sense.
yeah. Yeah. So
So
that's
is it an actual app or is it just like on desktop right now and mobile?
so let me see. Um, they say marketplace. Simply apply to become a partner and verify your details. How to join marketplace. Now, I'm not a creator. Monica is a micro influencer, so maybe she'll sign up and
Well,
we can.
I am signed up for something with Impact Radius, but I signed up for whatever that is before they announced this whole creator thing.
Yeah,
So I'll have to log in and see if it pushes me somewhere.
I don't know. Uh, we'll talk about this in a future one if it's an app or a
Yeah.
site. I would imagine it's probably both.
Yeah. We can also drop the link in the show notes and y'all can go explore and let us know what you think.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, let's talk about threads.
All right. Um,
I
not doing so hot.
personally was really excited about threads. And I think the first 3 days of it, it was like my full-time job to just be on threads. I loved it so much. And now I don't know the last time I opened it. But I
Yeah.
think about it. I think, like, when I'm falling asleep at night, I'm like thinking thoughts and I'm like, oh, that would have been funny for threads. But I never post it. I
Oh.
know.
I feel like the one time I think about threads is when I'm on Instagram and I see the person's like when they join
Oh,
thread.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Are
that's
they
like
an
the
early
main.
adopter or late adopter?
Yeah.
I'm
So,
I'm like, "Oh, I'm in the first million signups.
um,
I'm 800,000."
I saw like that is amazing. I think I was 3 million. But you know what? When I signed up and like you don't really have anyone like going into your feed, right? Because
Mhm.
like you're not really following anyone because it's like this new thing. I
Yeah.
was actually thinking like, should I try to become a Threads
Why
influencer?
not?
Like
Why
you
not?
literally could.
Yes.
So,
I mean, why and here's the thing. I think a lot of people get hung up with the becoming a creator, influencer, whatever you wanna call it, and being like, "Well, I can't take pictures. I don't have things to take pictures of every day." Like, there's such a visual component, or I don't wanna be on video all the time. That's my thing. I don't wanna be talking to video all day, every day. I did that, and now I'm just, like, over it. But if you are someone who's really good at writing and really witty, Threads is so good. Like, you can you don't have to be like the stereotypical of what you think of an influencer. And I think Threads opens that door again, that Twitter is a dark, mysterious place sometimes.
especially now. Yes.
Also, are we ever gonna start calling it X, or is it just always gonna be Twitter and Elon Musk is gonna be the only one calling it X? Like, what have we decided as a collective? Because it's still Twitter to me, just without the
Yeah.
bird.
Well, I feel like when you see it in articles, it'll be like X parentheses formerly
So
known as Twitter. Like,
right.
I feel like literally if you only say X, it seems like it's just a placeholder.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. I'll be like capital
Mhm.
X's or whatnot if I'm like trying to think of some like filler
Yeah.
and it would look like a mistake.
Yes, 100%. Did you see that they're auctioning off I think they might have already done it, everything that was in the Twitter office, including the bird that was on the side of the building? I kinda wanted the bird. I was like, if I if I had, like, that level of disposable income and a place to put it, I'd, like, ask my assistant to put in a bid for the bird. I, like, thought I had this all planned. I don't know. In another life, I would have put it in a bid for the bird.
I actually was just like thinking in my head, I'm like, does she have an assistant?
I
It would be
wish.
like in your dream life.
Okay, pro hack for creators, pretend like you do have an assistant. When you're pitching to brands, do it from like a generic email like hello@myblog.com and pretend that you're the assistant. And that's going to help you kind of put a different hat on, especially with negotiations. So when I used to do this, I used to just use my friend's name. And then I have a friend who uses my name. And yeah, it's like your alter ego. And at the end of the day, as dumb as it is, people kind of do take you more seriously if you have like your assistant coming in and trying to negotiate or pitch to you.
Yeah. That's in going back to what we started to talk about last week, treating this like it's an actual business,
Mhm.
that is part of it. Like you would have a bigger organization
Yep.
and everyone's responsible for their different things. And it is up to, that person that's in charge of whatever function, let's take negotiations, to get the best price and to get
Yep.
the best payment for the company.
Yeah.
So that's really smart.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Um,
back to Threads. I saw since July 31st, it's declined like 85%.
oh, that I saw 75%.
Oh,
I
okay.
would think that
I mean,
85% is more accurate now. Like, I think that that's another thing though, where when it comes to little like pithy statements,
mhm.
like, okay, that was Twitter. People were really obsessed with that when it first came out. And like, so that's why it's kind of the go-to for that. But then
Mhm.
when it came to threads, like, I think at first everyone was just having a good time, like watching Elon freak out that everyone
Yeah.
was downloading it. But then it's like, what do I actually do here?
Right. Do
So,
you think that somewhere in the Instagram offices, there's like meetings right now where they're like, should we just put the Threads capability inside Instagram so then you can just post your little blurb within Instagram? Or is it just going to melt away?
I don't know because if you put it into Instagram, is that kind of like you're admitting failure of it's just also like I
Yeah.
think that I read that they're trying to add features and whatnot, but how like they need to have a bigger purpose
Yeah.
for what to use it for. Because right now it's kind of like people will post on threads, but then they post on Instagram the threads photo.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's a
Hun,
good point. It also goes to show how you can't release something just to be in competition with something else. Like you can't that can't be your only reason just because you want to compete. And I
yeah.
think that, you know, right now in the influencer space, LTK is the only one with a consumer app. And it could be asked, why is no one else trying to do that too? Because it clearly works very well. But if we kind of use this as an example, you can't just launch a product and put all this investment unless you have a deeper reason other than just to compete.
Yep. And same thing even with the platforms that you choose as a creator to be on, like not
Yep.
just trying to get on all of them, but showing up poorly because you don't know what your perspective is in using that platform.
Yeah. Do you think creators need to be on every platform? Like, do you have to be on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok in order to have a successful business?
I think that you need some sort of variety because you can't only be on like one or two
Mhm.
because these platforms are beyond our control and there's going to be changes.
Yeah.
So if you need to have some sort of diversification, but then you can't be on too many where it just becomes a chore and then you burn
Mhm.
out.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
yeah, like that. I think also you could theoretically have be on less platforms if you are really following what's going on with that platform and you're able to use data to evaluate like where in the funnel are things breaking down. If you're
Right.
able to do that, then you can adapt and like bob and weave a little better to
Mhm.
changes that you encounter.
Yeah. And also on that note, when it comes to looking at your data, when it comes to social media platforms, let's just say Instagram for the example. This goes looking at this goes beyond just putting blame on the algorithm. Like the algorithm's going to do whatever it wants. I believe that the algorithm isn't out to get you because at the end of the day, Instagram wants creators to keep posting. and people to keep watching. So they're not out to get you, even though that's how a lot of people make it sound. But there, you can still use data. You can still make decisions and not feel like you're just at the whim of that algorithm, right?
Yeah, and it's even the case if you think about a more traditional company, all marketing departments know that if they if they have a budget, like let's say you have a $1 million budget in 2023,
Mhm.
you can't have that same budget in 2024 and expect the same results.
Right.
Things are going to keep getting more expensive. Like the algorithms are going to change, or even just like the logic that even advertising platforms use, that evolves.
Mhm.
So you can't expect to just keep doing the same thing and for your success to just like keep being at the same level or even
Right.
increase. You always have to adapt, especially in this industry.
Yeah. Well, and you even see when someone goes viral and they're asked, "How did that go viral?" or whatever. They're usually like, "Well, I did something different. I tried something new."
Yeah.
So, we have to be comfortable with pivoting.
Yes. And like not I always love thinking about it's always like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. I think about that all the
Yep.
time. Like
Yep.
if
Me
something's
too.
not working, it's like change it. Do something new. Like why would you keep like banging your head against the wall and doing the same thing and thinking that there's going to be a different outcome?
My therapist said that's why I need to update my dating app profile picture. So, I mean, yeah,
The logic applies.
it does to everything in life, to everything. I've never seen that logic not be of sound advice.
Yes.
So, okay, so speaking of changes, pivoting, we all know that every time there's a new iOS release, panic arises. And that's right around the corner, isn't it?
Yep. I think September.
Oh, yeah, that
Right?
is. Yeah. It's always in the fall,
Yep.
right? I don't know if I'm such a nerd. I remember in college being so excited to watch the like Apple keynote talk. I would like sit at my computer and I would literally watch the 2-hour keynote on
Mhm.
introducing all the new Apple products. I
I
haven't done that in
actually
years, but I used to live for it.
when I've worked at like other tech companies, like I remember one time the whole iOS team, we
Mhm.
reserved a conference room and we watched it and
Yeah.
everyone was like I mean everyone there was super excited. Um but my Just a question. Okay, this has always driven me nuts. Has this always kind of been the same format where they do the keynote even from the beginning of time?
Mhm.
Or was the keynote and like the whole like presentation that now everyone's trying to copy? Is that a relatively newer thing? I could look it up, but
I've what I know is that I've watched it since the iPhone came out.
okay. Because when I was in high school,
Mhm.
this was before or no, maybe, like, right when iPhones were starting, but I had the old iPod, which for all you young kids, it was just, like, black and white, like, not even no graphics, nothing to start out, and so I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna take my money that in high school was not super plentiful," and I bought the iPod Photo. And it was,
Oh,
like, pretty, right? Like, it could
yeah,
actually
I
show
forgot about that.
photos, which was a new thing.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm not kidding, the next week, the video came out, and I
No.
was already I had already used the
No.
photo, and I was like,
No.
"This is a disaster." What? I always remember that, and I'm like, "Was that before they established the official cadence? Like, how could I have known?"
I
But
think so. I think And I could actually, this is a complete assumption, but maybe like the iPhone is kind of what made it this like huge thing. I remember in, I think it was, I guess, early high school. So my dad, every Sunday, he would make me choose an article from the Wall Street Journal, and I would have to present it to him. How how I didn't go to Harvard is beyond me. But
That is
it used to,
amazing.
oh, you don't
What
wanna know, you don't
creativity.
even wanna know what I
I
was
feel like
having to do.
I have some insight into your childhood.
Yeah, no, if I go into further detail, then it's gonna be a lot of red flags why I didn't go to an Ivy League. But anyway, I remember the one article that I remember is the one where they announced the iPad. And there was this, it was like this full spread in the Wall Street Journal on the iPod, and it is like seared into my memory, which is just so wild
Yeah.
how Apple has done that. Like, we have life milestones that we can tie to their products.
Yeah. I mean, you see it now when people switch from Android to iPhone and it's like
Mhm.
celebrated with like the blue bubbles
Yep.
that you now have in text.
Also,
Yeah.
how does everyone have the AirPods Max? Those are like $500 headphones. Everywhere I look, everyone has, I I still have the ones with the cord
Oh my
because I
gosh.
can't be trusted with AirPods because I lose them. But I'm just like, where do people listen to music, I guess, that much that it's like it doesn't matter what age you are, you have the AirPod Max ones. I feel like it's
Yeah,
like the most mind-blowing phenomenon to me.
or even just like normal AirPods. I mean, that's a very premium thing. Like I had growing
I
up like
thought
little
so until I saw the other
Sony.
ones.
Oh my
Yeah.
remember those at first it was everything was over
Yeah.
the head
Yeah.
and then
And
it
then it
changed
was
to like the under.
under. Yeah. I
Yeah.
saw a TikTok yesterday, so this isn't fact checked, but AirPods alone make more revenue than like Spotify and a bunch of different companies, and is barely second to how much Adobe makes in revenue. Just AirPods alone.
I can see that.
And if you, I don't know. I just, I lost one. I fell asleep on a plane and couldn't find it. And I was just like, you've lost your privileges. Back to the cord.
That's usually how I am, but I got the AirPods that because the normal ones don't fit in my ear. It's so weird. Like my inside of my ear, I think like pushes out too much. Like it doesn't
Oh.
sit back.
I wonder if
So I
that's why
could
mine fall out all the time when I had
I
them.
I could never use even just the normal Apple headphones. I was always using different ones.
Yeah.
So I use the
Interesting.
ones that the AirPods that suction in. Much
Oh,
better.
got it. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe you
I don't
have
know.
weird ears too.
Who knew? Okay, back to iOS changes. So, as a creator, when there is a new software update shebang, not like the little version point 3, like the big ones that come out.
Yeah.
So, also, why is it 17 that's coming in out and not 16? Are we at 16?
Wait, for some reason I thought 15. But wait, that's like,
I think it's 17.
is it 17? Hold on. iOS 17. Yep.
Well, it's like
Yep,
sometimes they
yep,
come
yep.
out with an iPhone. It's like iPhone 6 came out, but then iPhone 8 is the next one. It's like, why did we skip 7? So, but
I mean,
anyway, iOS
and
17.
yes.
Do creators need to be worried?
So I think that with some of this stuff, it can sound scary, but I think that affiliate networks have creators' backs.
Yeah.
because of some of the things that they're trying to do to make some of the restrictions have a much lesser impact.
Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, an affiliate network is not gonna make money if the creator isn't making money.
Yep.
So they wanna make sure that they can have the creator drive those sales. So that's always gonna be it's kinda like the Instagram algorithm. Like, we need to just stop pretending that everyone is just, like, trying to make your life more difficult. You have more tech people in your corner than you think you do.
Yes. Yes. And I mean, it's it's also interesting because when Apple did launch, was it 14 that basically like destroyed Facebook?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because in
That's what
it
started all the panic.
yes, because there is some sort of oh my gosh, by the way, for those watching, look at my
I love them. I
nails.
noticed the other day.
I like love them. She did a very good job.
She did.
But so it's kind of like what companies are trying to do and now they're I think that they do have some consumer interest in mind where they're
Mhm,
trying to be like, you can protect your data, like you don't have to be tracked.
mhm.
At the end of the day, I always let everyone track me
Same.
because,
Like, what?
yeah, like we're not doing anything weird. But
No.
then also, I mean, this is a separate thing, but I love ads, especially when I'm in the exploration phase. Like if I'm trying
Mhm.
to like look for a new phone case, like I like going to a few sites and then I'm like, ads, get
Come to
at
me.
me. Yes. That's how I found my phone case. It's loopy,
Oh,
not
I've
sponsored.
never okay, I've always wanted to but then I didn't know if it was just, like, so heavily influencer that, like, it's not a good product. I don't know. You know how there's some products that you're just like, they're going so deep in influencer that I don't know if it's reliable.
But I
But you
think
like
that's
it?
it. Yes, I've
Okay.
I've had these cases for like a few years.
Okay. Make a
Like
note to make sure we link to
and
it.
it's nice too because, like, with the loop, like, you can do other things.
Yeah.
So I can be like, "Oh, here's my water.
I
Yay."
feel like that also looks more comfortable than the pop socket.
Yes. Well, the main reason that I did this, I did already have a case, but it was because they did, like, a promo not a promo, but an effort where they put a higher percent to helping Maui.
Oh, nice.
So, I was like, this is, like, different than my last case and, like, more money will go to I should have just donated what I spent,
You
but
know,
email sucked
we
me
do
in.
we do what we can. We're all philanthropists in our own way.
But, going back to, the iOS changes, so
Mhm,
they're, like, framing it as, um, they're helping protect your privacy because they're not sharing as much data or they don't allow, like, other apps to share data with other apps, and so
mhm.
it's kind of under the guise of privacy, but part of me also just wonders, like, did they just wanna take some other companies down? 'Cause
Yeah.
they own the operating system,
Yep.
like
They
but
can yeah.
y yeah, but what you can do as a creator is, 1, not only educate yourself behind, like, "Why is this changing? What does this mean?" And that's also why we're here because we like doing stuff like that. But then also doing your research and figuring out who is adjusting. Like,
Yeah.
who is trying to, like, get around this or work with these changes, or who's introducing a new way where you can make money
Mhm.
because this thing is happening, right?
Yep.
So that's also where, like Monica said, there's a ton of technical people that are here to help you in ways that you don't even, like, realize.
Yeah. Because I think what a lot of people don't see behind the scenes is, okay, let's say you're linking to I can't even think of an example, a water bottle company. I just looked at my water bottle, whatever. And you choose LTK to link to that product. And you might think, okay, what is LTK doing for this whole cookie thing and privacy and all that? They're they're just creating like the link for you and like showing you the data and all that. The network, like we were talking about with Impact, they're the ones that are kind of doing that techie stuff behind the scenes. So it also doesn't really matter which platform you use, whether it's LTK or ShopMy, because they're all using the same exact networks for the same retailers. So as long as you know that these networks are working on it, and you can go to their websites and you can read, like, they have blog posts on this and things like that. So yeah, if you educate yourself on it, you're gonna feel a lot more calm.
That also, and Monica, I don't know if we're gonna have time for Q&A today. We
That's
may have
okay.
to push that, but I I do think it's important that creators know this too. Like Monica said, it is all coming from the same network.
Mhm.
Whether you use Collective Voice, LTK, Howl, ShopMy, they are all getting the same data. So it's just interesting when you see like some sub affiliates, which is what all of those are, like saying that they can like operate in different like revenue models, ones that are very, very different from the norm, or like show you more data or whatnot. At the end of the day, everyone can see the same data.
Yep,
So there there's a reason why they're saying that they can show you more, but then there's also a reason why some other companies are not.
correct.
So, uh, I mean, and we talked about this last week, a lot of shiny objects. I think there can be
Mhm.
a lot of shiny promises too,
Yep.
but just know that it's the same. How many affiliate networks are there? Like 8 to 10?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say there's 4 major ones,
Hmm.
and then 4 that kind of like there's always gonna be one big retailer on it.
Yep. So I think it's important that everyone knows that. And maybe we could even
Do
talk
an
about
affiliate
this.
network deep dive, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay, Q&A, we'll start that next episode so that we make sure we answer y'all's questions. But other than that, make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. Also, we would appreciate so much to review, to rate, depending on if it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It makes such a difference in the early stages, so we appreciate that so much.
Yes. And thank you, everyone. This is so fun.
Yes.
So
All right.
appreciate all your support.
See y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.